Amanda had just stepped into the living room, balancing a tray of snacks, when it happened. Her daughter, Lila, ran ahead of her, holding up a drawing she'd made for Grandma. She never even saw the kick coming. Melissa, Amanda's younger sister, stuck out her leg and slammed her foot into Lila's stomach. The little girl crumpled to the floor with a sharp cry, the drawing fluttering out of her hand. The whole room went still for half a second, uncles, aunts, cousins, everyone staring. Amanda expected outrage, someone shouting at Melissa, her parents rushing to help. But instead, her mother burst into laughter, and her father shook his head with a grin. "Oh, Melissa, you're terrible," Helen said between giggles. "Always joking around," Robert added, as though kicking an 8-year-old was some kind of party trick. Amanda froze, the tray still in her hands. Lila's sobs cut through the air, high and broken, but nobody moved to comfort her. A few cousins gave awkward laughs, like they didn't know what else to do. Amanda set the tray down slowly, her hands trembling, and dropped to her knees to lift her daughter. "What is wrong with you?" she snapped at Melissa, her voice shaking with fury. Melissa only smirked, swirling the wine in her glass like nothing had happened. "Oh, calm down, Mandy. She's fine. Kids are dramatic." Amanda looked around the room, waiting for someone to say it wasn't okay. No one did. Her parents were still smiling, already moving on to another topic. Her chest tightened, rage twisting with something colder, disbelief. She held Lila close, feeling her daughter's small body shake with sobs, and realized no one here cared. Not enough to stand up. Not even enough to stop laughing. And a question hit her so hard it nearly knocked the breath out of her. If my own parents could laugh at my child's pain, what does that make me to them? A single mother, resilient but often undermined by her family, Amanda had spent years proving to herself that she could survive on her own. At 34, she had built a quiet, stable life for her 8-year-old daughter, Lila. She worked long hours as an office assistant, saved carefully, and made sure Lila had everything she needed: a warm home, decent clothes, and love that didn't run out. But no matter what Amanda achieved, her family never seemed to see her as enough. Her younger sister, Melissa, was always the one praised and adored. Melissa was 28, beautiful, confident, and full of charm. She knew how to get people to forgive her, even when she was wrong. Their parents, Helen and Robert, treated her like a treasure that could do no wrong. It had always been that way. When Amanda got good grades, it was never quite impressive. When Melissa barely passed her exams, their parents threw her a small party to encourage her. When Amanda got married at 25, they told her she was lucky anyone wanted her. When the marriage fell apart, they didn't ask what happened. They told her it was her fault. "You're too sensitive," her mother had said. "You drive people away," her father added. Not once did they ask if she was okay. Amanda never forgot those words. She remembered crying alone at night after her divorce, holding newborn Lila, and wondering why her own parents didn't care. When Melissa broke off her engagement years later, Helen and Robert wrapped her in comfort and told everyone it wasn't her fault. That was the difference. Melissa's mistakes were brushed aside. Amanda's pain was treated like proof she had failed. Still, Amanda had tried to keep the peace. She wanted her daughter to know her grandparents, her cousins, to feel like she belonged to a bigger family. She believed, or maybe hoped, that people could change. Maybe her parents had softened with age. Maybe they would see Lila and realize family should mean love, not judgment. So despite her doubts, Amanda accepted the invitation to the family gathering. She dressed Lila in her favorite yellow dress and told her they were going to see Grandma and Grandpa. Lila was excited, carrying a drawing she had made as a gift. Amanda smiled at her daughter's enthusiasm, but felt the old knot of tension in her chest. She had promised herself she wouldn't let anything ruin the day. But in Amanda's family, Melissa was still the golden child. Even now, she walked into the room and everyone lit up, clapping and hugging her like a celebrity. Amanda came in behind her and barely got a nod. Helen fussed over Melissa's hair and shoes while Robert poured her a drink. Amanda sat on the edge of the sofa with Lila, quietly watching. It stung, but Amanda told herself to ignore it. She wasn't here for herself. She was here for her daughter. Maybe if she stayed calm and polite, they could all share a nice afternoon. Maybe if she smiled enough, her parents would smile back. She wanted to believe things could finally be different. She was wrong. After the kick, Amanda confronts Melissa. But Melissa just laughs and calls Lila weak and dramatic. "You're seriously upset about that?" Melissa smirked, swirling her wine glass. She barely fell. "If that's enough to make her cry, maybe you should toughen her up." Amanda's voice shook. "You don't put your hands, or your feet, on my child. Ever." Before she could say more, Helen stepped in with a sharp tone. "Amanda, stop overreacting. Melissa was only playing. You always make such a big deal out of nothing." Robert nodded in agreement. "You really need to calm down. Kids cry over everything. Don't embarrass yourself." Amanda's face burned. She gathered Lila into her arms, feeling her daughter's small body trembling, her cheeks wet with tears. Melissa kept smirking as if she had done something clever. The cousins were whispering, a few of them giggling. Nobody seemed to care that Lila was hurt. Amanda wanted to scream. But the laughter around her, her own parents' laughter, felt like a wall closing in. It wasn't just Melissa's cruelty. It was everyone acting like it didn't matter. Like Lila didn't matter. The rest of the afternoon passed in a blur. Amanda stayed quiet, holding Lila close, waiting for the moment she could leave without causing another scene. When they finally got home, Amanda tucked her daughter into bed, kissed her forehead, and promised everything was okay. Even though it wasn't. Later that night, Amanda couldn't sleep. She went to the kitchen to get some water and froze when she heard voices coming from the back porch. Melissa and her parents were talking. Amanda stopped near the door and listened. "She's exhausting," Melissa was saying. "Always acting like the victim." Helen sighed. "We've told her 1,000 times. She's too sensitive. She takes everything personally." Robert added, "She's been a burden since day one. Always needing help, always making drama. If she raised Lila properly, the kid wouldn't be so soft." Amanda's stomach dropped. She stood there in the dark, gripping the counter to keep herself steady. They weren't just defending Melissa. They were tearing her apart. It hit her all at once. This wasn't about one kick. This wasn't about a single bad afternoon. It was about years of being dismissed, years of being blamed, years of being made to feel small. And now, it wasn't just hurting her. It was hurting Lila. Amanda walked back to her room and closed the door softly, so she wouldn't wake her daughter. She sat on the edge of the bed, staring into the dark, her hands shaking. For the first time, she saw the truth clearly. This family would never protect her child. They never even protected her. Amanda decides she won't stay silent anymore. For years, she had kept her head down to avoid fights. She had let her parents talk over her, let Melissa make sly comments, let herself be treated like a mistake. But now it wasn't just about her anymore. It was about Lila. Amanda knew if she didn't speak up, her daughter would grow up thinking this kind of treatment was normal. It started with small things. When Melissa lied about being the one who helped organize a family dinner, Amanda calmly corrected her in front of everyone. "Actually, I handled that," she said with a steady voice, looking Melissa in the eye. No more smiling and letting it slide. When something went wrong, like when the cake was late or a guest got upset, Amanda refused to take the blame. In the past, she would have accepted it just to keep the peace. But now she said, "No, that wasn't me. Don't put this on me." Her parents didn't like it. Melissa definitely didn't like it. Soon Melissa fought back in her own way. She started whispering to relatives, telling them Amanda was losing it, saying she was unstable and too emotional to handle life. At first, Amanda didn't realize what was happening. She just noticed phone calls from cousins slowing down, family members acting strangely distant. When she tried to make plans, people suddenly had excuses. Then she overheard Melissa talking to an aunt at a family barbecue. "I'm worried about Amanda. She's snapping at everyone. I think she needs help." The fake concern made Amanda's blood boil. Melissa wasn't worried. She was poisoning people against her. Their parents didn't defend Amanda. In fact, they joined in quietly. They started leaving her out of family events. There were dinners she didn't even hear about until she saw the photos online. When she asked her mother about it, Helen simply said, "We didn't think you'd want to come. You're always so tense." Amanda felt trapped. She wanted to protect her daughter from this toxic family, but she also didn't want Lila to grow up completely alone. Lila still loved her grandparents, even though they barely paid attention to her. Every time they ignored her, Amanda saw confusion in her little girl's eyes. One evening, Amanda found Lila sitting on the floor of her bedroom, hugging her stuffed rabbit, tears streaming down her face. "Baby, what's wrong?" Amanda asked, kneeling beside her. Lila sniffled, looking up with red eyes. "Why doesn't Grandma love me?" The words hit Amanda like a punch. She gathered Lila into her arms, holding her tight. "Oh, sweetheart, Grandma loves you in her own way," Amanda whispered, even though the lie burned her throat. But inside something shattered. It wasn't just her parents hurting her anymore. They were hurting her child. All the years of being blamed, dismissed, and excluded suddenly felt unbearable. Amanda realized she couldn't let Lila grow up thinking this was love. That night, Amanda sat awake long after Lila fell asleep. Her heart was pounding with anger and fear. If she stayed, Lila would keep being treated like she was invisible. If she left, Lila would lose her grandparents, cousins, and family gatherings. Both choices hurt, but Amanda knew which hurt she could live with, and which one she couldn't. A major confrontation erupts at another family gathering. Amanda had promised herself to stay calm, to just get through the day for Lila's sake. But it all fell apart the moment Melissa leaned down, smirked, and called Lila pathetic for dropping a plate. Amanda's chest went hot, and something inside her snapped. "Don't you ever talk to my child like that," she shouted, her voice cutting through the room like a blade. The laughter and small talk stopped. Every eye turned toward her. Helen frowned. Robert's mouth tightened. Melissa rolled her eyes, acting amused. "Oh, come on, Mandy," Melissa said, her tone mocking. "You're seriously this sensitive? No wonder no one likes being around you. You make everything a drama." Amanda stood up, her hands shaking but her voice clear. "No, Melissa. You make everything cruel. You've been nasty to me my entire life, and now you're going after my daughter." Robert stood as if to calm things down. "Amanda, that's enough. You're embarrassing yourself again." "No," Amanda shot back, louder this time. "You've been telling me to shut up since I was a kid. You've let Melissa do whatever she wants and blamed me for everything. I'm done staying quiet." Helen crossed her arms. "Stop acting like a victim. Melissa has always been the good one. You're just jealous." Amanda let out a bitter laugh. "Good one? You want to talk about good? Let's tell everyone what really happened when Melissa was 16. A murmur rippled through the room. Melissa froze, her smirk slipping for the first time. "Don't you dare," she hissed. Amanda turned to face the relatives watching, their eyes wide. "Do you all remember when I was punished for losing my temper at school? When everyone thought I attacked another girl for no reason? That wasn't me. That was Melissa. She broke that girl's nose. But Mom and Dad made me take the blame so Melissa wouldn't get expelled." Gasps filled the air. An uncle muttered, "What?" while an aunt whispered, "I thought Amanda was lying about that." Melissa's face turned pale. "You're lying," she shouted, but her voice cracked. Amanda's voice shook, but she didn't stop. "You've spent your whole life being protected. No matter what you did, Mom and Dad covered it up. And me? I was the scapegoat. I was the failure. You never cared what it cost me. You still don't." Helen stepped forward, her voice rising. "Amanda, stop this now. You're upsetting everyone." Amanda faced her mother with tears in her eyes, but her voice was steady. "You're upset because the truth is finally out. You've spent years telling me I'm too sensitive, too dramatic, too much. But I'm not crazy. You just never loved me the way you love her. And now you're treating my daughter the same way." The room was dead silent. Some cousins looked away in shame. An aunt shook her head at Melissa. Even Robert seemed at a loss for words. Melissa tried to laugh it off, but her voice wobbled. "You're pathetic, Amanda. You've always been pathetic." Amanda stared at her sister with pure fury. "No. I'm done being your punching bag. I'm done letting you hurt me. And I'm never letting you hurt Lila again." The spell broke. Relatives began whispering, some glaring at Melissa, others at Helen and Robert. The image of the perfect family was gone, shattered in a single moment. Some people quietly moved toward Amanda, putting a hand on her shoulder, murmuring support. Others stayed silent, unwilling to take sides. Melissa tried to speak again, but no one was listening to her anymore. For the first time, the golden child wasn't shining. Amanda took Lila's hand. "We're leaving," she said firmly, her voice shaking but strong. And this time nobody dared to stop her. She takes her daughter and walks out, refusing to let toxic love destroy them. Amanda didn't look back as she led Lila to the car. Her hands were shaking, but her steps were steady. For the first time in her life, she didn't care what her parents or Melissa thought. She cared only about the little hand holding hers so tightly. In the car, Lila sat quietly wiping her tears. "Are we in trouble, Mommy?" she asked softly. Amanda's heart ached, but she smiled through it. "No, baby. We're not in trouble. We're just done letting people hurt us." Cutting ties wasn't easy. Days passed without a single phone call from her parents. No apology, no explanation, just silence. Amanda had to fight the guilt that tried to creep in, the old voice in her head telling her she was being too sensitive. But this time, she refused to listen. Amanda focused on building something new. She started spending more time with people who cared. An old friend from work who invited her and Lila to weekend picnics, neighbors who offered kind words, even a local support group where single parents met to share their struggles and victories. Little by little, Amanda found comfort in knowing she wasn't alone. She also started therapy. At first, it felt strange to talk about her childhood, about the pain she had buried for so long. But each session helped her see things clearly. Her parents' behavior was never her fault. Their coldness didn't mean she was unworthy of love. And most importantly, it didn't have to shape Lila's future. One evening, after dinner at their small apartment, Amanda sat on the couch with Lila. "Sweetheart," she said gently, "you know how Grandma and Grandpa laughed that day?" Lila nodded, her eyes sad. "That wasn't okay," Amanda continued. "And it's not because of you. You're amazing, and you deserve people who are kind. Family isn't just the people we're born to. It's the people who love and respect us. So we don't need them?" Lila asked, her voice small. Amanda hugged her close. "We don't need people who laugh at our pain. We need people who lift us up. And we're going to find more of those people." As weeks turned into months, Amanda kept her promise. She and Lila joined community events, visited friends, and even started volunteering at a weekend art class for kids. Lila's laughter slowly returned. Amanda felt her own heart heal, piece by piece, as she watched her daughter thrive in an environment filled with kindness. Amanda still had hard days. Sometimes she missed the idea of having a big family. But when those feelings came, she reminded herself that love isn't about blood. It's about the people who show up and treat you with care. She had spent years begging for scraps of affection. Now she chose peace over pain. And with every new friendship, every warm smile, and every evening spent without fear or judgment, Amanda grew stronger. She was no longer the daughter trying to earn her parents' approval. She was a mother, building a life where her child would never doubt she was loved. Amanda and Lila sit together in their small apartment, eating dinner peacefully. The room is quiet except for the sound of forks on plates and the soft hum of the fridge. There's no shouting, no cruel laughter, no heavy air that makes you want to disappear. Just the two of them, sharing a simple meal at their little table. For the first time in days, Lila smiles. Not the polite, forced smile she had been giving whenever Amanda tried to cheer her up, but a real one, small and shy. She leans closer and whispers, "Mommy, I'm glad it's just us." Amanda feels her throat tighten. Her heart aches for what her daughter has lost, grandparents, cousins, the idea of family. But at the same time, her heart swells with pride, because Lila isn't sad to be away from them. She feels safe, and that means Amanda chose right. Amanda reaches across the table and squeezes her daughter's hand. "Me too, baby," she says softly. "Me too." They finish dinner slowly, talking about school, about the drawing Lila wants to make for her friend, about what movie to watch later. There is laughter now, real and gentle, filling the small space like warm light. As Amanda clears the plates, she glances at her daughter, her bright, brave little girl, and feels a quiet strength settle in her chest. She doesn't need her parents' approval. She doesn't need their love if it comes with cruelty. What matters is the love at this table, the bond between mother and daughter that no one can break. Amanda sits back down, takes Lila's hand again, and smiles through the tears she can't hold back. "In losing them, I finally found us." Hey friends, thanks so much for sticking around till the end. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button for more. See you next time.